The recent attack by Israel in Iran has left the entire world astonished, asking serious questions. Was it really all about stopping Iran's nuclear program? Many headlines say just that. But what if the nuclear question was just the tip of the iceberg? What if there were other deeper reasons behind this audacious act? For a long time, Israel had been ringing alarm bells to the world over Iran's nuclear activities. Israel claims that the strikes were necessary to prevent a major threat, but looking closely beyond said statements would reveal something pretty different. This conflict is about more than just nuclear weapons. It's more about power, politics, and control of the Middle East. Iran's influence has been growing through the support of groups like Hezbollah and during several regional conflicts. The growing perception of danger to Israel and its allies, from Hezbollah in particular, might be partly shaping the recent Israel action. At the same time, internal political pressure is being created in Israel, and changing international alliances may also play some role. Israel hits Iran, but why? What is the bigger picture? This video will explain the reasons lurking behind the attack and explain how the nuclear story might just be the tip of the iceberg. So stay with us as we reveal to you the truth behind the headlines. Israel made it clear that the most important goal is to prevent Iran from getting atomic weapons. For decades, Israeli leaders have been informing the world about the fact that Iran's nuclear program is not at all peaceful. This is because Iran enriches uranium to levels as high as 60%, a mark that approaches the 90% needed for use in a nuclear bomb. Reports have been issued by the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, that indicate Iran has enriched uranium up to 60%, nearing weapon-level qualification. Among these are Natanz, which has come under fire. In the past, Israel has engaged in using cyber attacks such as the Stuxnet virus and secret operations by Mossad in order to stall the progress of Iran. The Natanz facility was first exposed in 2002, and since then, Israel has been linked to cyber attacks like the Stuxnet virus and even the killing of Iranian scientists. Most recently, there has reportedly been action from Mossad before hitting with airstrikes to sabotage Iran's air defenses. This is because these activities show how far Israel is willing to go in order to reduce the risk. Even so, some experts suggest that not much has changed on the ground recently. So the big question is the fear truly what's pushing Israel to strike now? Iran's influence in the Middle East is growing rapidly. Tehran supports strong entities such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and the Houthis in Yemen. These groups are commonly referred to as Iranian proxies, helping the Republic extend its influence without going to war directly. For Israel, this is a considerable threat. It feels possibly encircled by enemies financed by Iran. In recent months, heightened tension and violence have re-emerged in Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza, raising more worries. Thus, Israel's action has to do not only with stopping nuclear weapons, but stopping Iran's power from growing unchecked across the region. Control over natural resources and trade routes is perhaps the most significant reason behind such Israeli attacks. One must understand that Iran is situated close to the Straits of Hormuz, which is among the most important waterways in the world. Around 20% of the oil of the world passes through this narrow strait. As this route is very important for oil movement, blocking or disruptive activity by Iran will play havoc with global oil supplies and prices. This gives Iran a powerful tool, not only against Israel, but also against many other countries. On the other hand, Israel aims to develop its economy into an end trade hub in the region. With the Abraham Accords, it built closer economic ties with Gulf countries such as the UAE and Bahrain. These accords aren't just assertions of peace, they're a matter of business. New potential trade routes are going to be developed, all going through the ports of Israel while connecting to the wider Middle East. However, Iran puts that goal at risk. If Iran continues to threaten energy routes or nearby countries, Israel's new trade partnerships could suffer. So, this issue is also about cash flow, power, and control over the future in the region, not just nuclear reactors or weapons. Another important reason behind Israel's attack on Iran could be what's happening inside Israel itself. The Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is under serious political pressure. His rating fell significantly, with polls indicating about 58% of Israelis are not viewing him favorably. His government has faced public protests, primarily over controversial judicial reforms that set the nation ablaze with demonstrations across Israel, drawing tens of thousands of people marching and demonstrating against those reforms. With such protests come plummeting ratings for Netanyahu. Leaders at times like these extend their hands towards foreign conflict to deflect attention from issues at home. History tells us that when external pressure mounts, the people of a nation might unite even if they had been divided previously. A military strike swiftly transforms the questions of protests into the question of national security. Hence, the most important question arises: is this attack against Iran a diversion? Is this some way to bring an internal discourse to stop and unify the public against a common enemy? While the nuclear threat is real, it seems that the timing of the hit points toward internal politics in Israel playing a large role as well. When domestic pressure rises, leaders often search for ways to regain support, and war has always been a powerful tool in that diapason. Another important factor behind Israel's recent attack on Iran is its relationship with the United States. President Trump has approached Middle Eastern conflicts somewhat ambivalently, at times urging negotiations with Iran and at others favoring strong action by Israel. During his first administration, he withdrew the US from the Iran nuclear agreement and imposed a multitude of sanctions to pressure Iran. Quite recently, Trump deferred a decision whether the US would support Israel in its war against Iran, granting himself 2 weeks to make such a choice. This delay may have made Israel act more on its own, showing it won't always wait for the US approval before taking military steps. Therefore, while the US-Israel relationship is close, Israel's recent activities may also be pegged to show its ability to act independently in support of its future. Israel's attack on Iran doesn't just affect the two countries involved. It has serious consequences for the whole world. Perhaps the greatest danger involved is that of an extensive Middle East war. If Iran decides to strike back strongly, or if other countries or proxy groups join the conflict, the violence could spread fast. The entire region will lose stability, with many nations descending into conflict and further lives being lost. Another major threat is oil. The Strait of Hormuz, lying toward the Iranian side, is southeast of Iran and is very important for global oil shipping. If conflicts arise in this area, oil prices rise dramatically. This would hurt economies across the globe, including the Middle East. Also, there can be delays in shipping, delaying trade and increasing pricing all around the world. There is also growing tension between global powers. The world is already divided into rival sides, like the US and Israel on one side and Iran with support from Russia and China on the other. This could create a great divide that would make it even harder to work together on global problems such as peace, trade, and climate change. Finally, it should never be forgotten that there are human costs. Civilians are caught in the crossfire of Israel and Iran alike. It is they who pay dearly when leaders elect war instead of negotiation. It is common people that endure fear, destruction, and loss in situations where all they want is to live in peace. In this video, we have learned that it is about far more than just nuclear weapons. It's more about power, politics, trade routes, alliances globally, and the local political struggles. The Israeli assault upon Iran is just part of a much larger game, one where control, influence, and survival in a tense region get to the forefront. Headlines may be about nuclear weapons. However, beneath them lie layers of strategy and intention that are often unnoticed. But keep this in mind. When the war is declared by the leaders, the first victim is usually the truth. What we see from the surface hardly makes up the whole picture. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think is the real motive for Israel to attack Iran? Is it genuinely security reasons, or is that more a smokescreen? Comment your thoughts down below, and if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and hit that bell for weekly deep dives into global happenings.